Welcome back to the Ross Bolin podcast, presented by Bolin Media. I am Ross Bolin here with Captain Kade Orris. Kade, how's your ass?
Thick and juicy.
Supple?
Yeah. Although not as thick and juicy as it usually is. I haven't been working out a whole lot recently, especially legs. Kind of skipping leg day, so I haven't been able to hit my glute bridges and really get that
lift?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I usually have. Yeah,
Yeah, you got to work hard if you want that juicy J-bone ass, you know?
Right, yeah. Takes a lot of time and effort to sculpt an ass like that.
Yeah, if you want to be a thick boy, it takes blood, sweat, and tears in the gym.
Also, why do you refer to me as Captain?
I don't know, I just felt like it.
Just Captain Kade.
Captain Kade.
Okay, I like it. All right.
Yeah. Well, my ass has a problem. A problem with one of my neighbors. It's a weird issue. And this is something that has built up over the course of many months. I've been living in this house next door to this lady for 2 years, okay? Or at least maybe coming up on 2 years. The point is, for a while. I see her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We make small talk and shit. My neighbor next door, really nice older lady, real green thumb. She's always outside working in the yard. Like yesterday, they had like a dump truck pull up and drop, I don't know how many thousands of pounds of dirt in their driveway because they're like resodding their backyard, but they have to put like dirt down before the sod or something. I'm not really sure. Our neighbor at the Bolin Media House had dirt in their driveway.
That was mulch.
That was mulch.
Yeah.
This is not that.
Okay.
This is dirt.
Just straight dirt.
Just straight up
from the ground.
Fucking dirt.
Yeah.
And they're doing something they're always doing something with their yard. Like always. And this lady's between like 50 and 60 years old, I'm pretty sure. Retired, if I'm not mistaken. She has like 6 chihuahuas.
Do your dogs and their dogs get along? Probably not.
I mean, I think my dogs are nice, and Bruce and Bella are pretty antisocial. Big Harvey's really nice, and he wants to play with the chihuahuas through the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Through the fence, they don't get along. You know, they're very angry at each other.
Yeah.
But if they saw each other out in a social situation, that they would get along. I'd like to think.
Okay.
But they're very yappy, these chihuahuas.
Not surprising at all.
And one of them sounds like it's like legitimately dying when it barks, and that's just its normal bark. It's like an alarm is going off. Like I can't even do an impression of it because it would be very unpleasant for the podcast listeners. But lots of chihuahuas going on in her backyard. This lady is very knowledgeable about the types of trees in our area. Like they were trimming their trees the other day, and I was like, oh, it's probably about just doing neighbor small talk. I was like, probably about time for me to trim this bad boy here, right? Like the closest tree to me. And she was like, actually, you're not supposed to trim that tree until like some certain season or whatever. And I was like, okay.
Oh, so you weren't going to
trim
that to begin with. So.
Really wasn't gonna, but thanks for the info. Anyway, because she's always working on her yard, I often drive past her, right? Like I see her from my car a lot, whether I'm leaving to go to work or coming back after picking up the kids from school or whatever. She's always out there. And as soon as she sees or hears my car, she waves. Like I said, nice lady, neighborly, right? Friendly lady. The problem is she literally never gives me time to wave back. Ever. She waves and immediately, like in a split second, goes back to what she was doing. So my return wave is to no one.
She doesn't even see it. Doesn't acknowledge it.
It's like this, Kade, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can see. She's like, it's that
Just
quick.
a real quick one, yeah.
It's that quick. And it's clearly she's not concerned with the return wave. She's not worried about whether or not I'm waving back. But like, I don't know, growing up in Texas, like, you know, if somebody lets you over into their lane, you wave,
yeah.
They wave. Acknowledging each other, maintaining niceties is important.
Mm-hmm.
And she's only doing half of the job.
She's not
accepting.
wave. Yeah, she's not accepting of the wave.
It's weird. It feels like a Curb Your Enthusiasm or a Seinfeld bit. But it like I said, this has happened. It's like 500 times now. This morning it happened again. She's out there with a wheelbarrow filling it up with the dirt. Her husband's at work, so she's just having to fucking, because it's supposed to rain like hell today.
Oh, yeah.
As it does like 5 days a week here for some reason now. And she's out there trying to get all the dirt into the backyard before it rains. There's like a tarp over this gigantic fucking mound of dirt. And so as I'm pulling out to come to the office, she's literally bent over with a shovel, lets one hand off, throws me the wave, and I like speedily, I was like, yes, me too. And she just, no, straight back to work, dude, and did not catch my return wave in any way, shape, or form. And I feel like a fucking idiot every time, just like waving at no one. Like,
Maybe you should stop waving at her.
I guess I just stopped returning, but like...
But then she's going to wait for like you to wave back at her, and then you don't, and then that's what's going to cause the problem.
It's going to be the one time.
And then that's the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode, is like the one time you don't wait back, she gets upset at you.
Yeah, and it becomes a thing.
Yeah.
A beef between the neighbors.
Yep.
You're right. That's exactly how it would unfold with Larry David. But yeah, man, it is grinding my gears at this point. And we talk like every day. Like, man, when I'm in the garage gym, which I'll talk more about later on this episode, and she's always out in her front yard. You know, I like between sets, you know, like the Fitbot app gives you like a little break or whatever, like a countdown until your next set. I go out there and I shoot hoops, and she's in the yard, and we talk, and you know, sometimes she's got a fucking chihuahua with her or whatever, and I feel like we have a good rapport, but for whatever reason, she's just completely unconcerned with getting a wave back from me, and I can't make sense of it. I just want to know, like, why? Because it's not sometimes, it's every single time, pretty much every single day.
Yeah. Maybe you just have a conversation with her, like, hey, I don't appreciate that you don't accept my wave.
I'm not joking. I think we're close enough to where I could ask, like, so what's the deal? Like, you wave, but you don't look to see if I wave back ever. And maybe it's just like an age thing. Maybe when I get up into my 50s or 60s and I've waved at enough people who haven't waved back, I'll understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Maybe she doesn't even want to wave at you, but she like knows you, sees you every day, so it's like, oh, there's Ross again.
Have to throw one, to throw a hand up.
Maybe she doesn't really want to, like, be nice and all.
I almost want to say, like, listen, you don't have to do this anymore. Like, we're cool. And if you're not going to take my wave back, I'd rather not have yours. Because it feels too one-sided.
Right.
I feel like I'm not doing my part, and frankly, I am, but no one sees it.
No one's acknowledging it.
The wave is just out there, floating.
Yeah.
Not hitting its target, because its target has turned away from me. So I got that going on right now.
Damn. It's a real problem. Your neighbor won't wave to you. God.
It's just one of the small problems I have in my life right now that I felt like sharing.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Gotcha. Good stuff.
So I mentioned within the last couple weeks that I finished the first book I've read in years. I mean, it's been years.
Yeah.
Like, definitely not since my son was born. Definitely not when my wife was pregnant. I haven't read anything in a while, is what I'm saying. And I read a book, and I was really proud of that. It's called The Bone Season, and it was solid, but it ended in an annoying cliffhanger that's going to force me to what?
I was going to hit the please clap, but
you
just kept going.
Please clap.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Don't be afraid to hit the button, Kade.
Okay.
But I read a book, and it was The Bone Season, and it's ends in a cliffhanger. It's going to force me to read more books to find out what happened to the characters, and that I'm annoyed by. But instead of continuing that book series immediately, because I kind of had my fill of the weirdness that's going on in that series for the moment, next I picked up The Count of Monte Cristo, which for longtime listeners you will remember as the second RBP Book Club selection when I founded the RBP Book Club back in 2020. And the RBP Book Club was short-lived. We read Drew McGarry's The Postmortal as our first book, one of my favorite books. And then we had the author, Drew McGarry, on our show for RBP 286, if you want to go listen to that episode. And then I picked our second book, and I picked The Count of Monte Cristo, because I love the movie. And I read 2 chapters. I think I brought it up once, maybe 2 weeks after I announced that was our next book, and then I never brought it up again. I never mentioned book club, RBP Book Club. I never mentioned The Count of Monte Cristo except to refer to the fact that it's kind of an ongoing joke that the RBP Book Club just died It was just like never a real thing. I don't know what I was doing or thinking with launching that.
I mean, it was COVID, right? So you're just
I was just trying. I was throwing shit at the wall, but like,
see what would stick.
I think gaming took over my life in such a complete and total way that I had no room for reading.
No, a very healthy option. Way more better than reading books for sure.
Yeah, pretty much the polar opposite in terms of mental health. But so I picked The Count of Monte Cristo. I read 2 chapters, which if you've read The Count of Monte Cristo, you realize is like 8 pages. They're very short chapters. There's just a shit ton of them. And then I bailed. So, as I said, that was 2020. But now, after 2 weeks of reading, a couple of chapters a night, I'm proud to say I'm over 250 pages into The Count of Monte Cristo. Kiss my ass and suck my balls, haters and doubters, of which there are many. That's halfway. I'm halfway home.
Okay, good start.
Yeah, and frankly, the middle of this thing is getting pretty repetitive. It's just like this.
And you've seen the movie.
Well, yeah,
right?
but there's a lot of differences. You know how oftentimes, the book and the movie are a lot different.
Yeah.
The TV show and the movie are a lot different.
Yeah,
right?
I'm reading Dune right now.
Right.
Well, I haven't been reading, but like I did read it at some point.
You started Dune. You got all 3 books. That's the hardest step is buying.
Buying the books is the hardest.
Knowing
step.
how to buy the finest literature is the most important thing, not necessarily reading it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there's a ton of really big changes between the way the book unfolds and the way the movie unfolds. Frankly, I prefer the movie, which is weird because most book readers are like, "Oh, the book is so much better." Now I'm not done. I'm only halfway, so maybe it changes my mind by the end. But a lot of big changes. I'm like, this is like the 150th page of the dude doing like every chapter is just him going and like manipulating another person, and I'm just trying to figure out like where it's going at this point. So I'm having a good time with it though, and me becoming an avid reader again has sparked a massive debate in literary circles around the world because I have a hot take about reading, which I will share with you now. Like Count of Monte Cristo, I've got the paperback, right?
Right.
The physical novel.
Yeah.
I hold it in my hand. I read the words on the page. I interpret them in my mind. When I finish one page, I turn it to the next. And so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's how you read books, yeah.
That's how you read a book, is it not, Kade? Reading a real physical book, that counts as reading because you are literally reading literature. With your eyes, you are examining the letters that form words, the words that form sentences, the sentences that form paragraphs, and you are reading a book. That's what you're doing.
Yeah,
Like Dune. That's a physical, real book you've got there that you read a few pages of, right?
Right, exactly.
Listening to an audiobook is not reading. It is literally not reading. It is listening. You are listening. And listening to an audiobook does not give you the credit of having read a book. You have listened to a book. In my mind, this is the way of the world. Have you ever done an audiobook, Kade?
We did in school. So we would read a chapter of a book and then our teacher would just play the audiobook for that same chapter. And that's
the laziest fucking teacher in the world.
Yeah, that's my experience with audiobooks.
That might be worse than my science teacher who just played that Jake Gyllenhaal rocket movie over and over, October Sky.
October Sky, yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking unbelievable. All right, you guys read that chapter. Now here's the audiobook play. Dude goes back to looking at porn on his computer or whatever.
Probably, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Something like that.
The American education system at its finest. And look, I get it. A lot of y'all have a lot of time you spend in the car, big commutes, if you were driving home to Indiana, might be a good time to throw on an audiobook.
Yeah, I mean, definitely don't want to read and drive. That would be
that's dangerous. That's worse than cranking and driving. Right. But the point stands. You don't get to say you read The Count of Monte Cristo, for example, if in fact you listened to it. It's just different. When you listen to an audiobook, someone else is reading the book. Therefore, placing emphasis on different words and phrases than you would if you were reading yourself. Therefore, causing you to take the book in a different manner. Therefore, you did not and do not receive full credit for reading the book because you have not, in fact, read anything. You have listened to something, and that's still worthy of some credit. It's just not the same level of credit as I'm getting as an enjoyer of literature in its proper form, physical.
Yeah, because
pages.
when you're reading, that's all you're doing is you're reading the book. But if you're listening to the audiobook, you can do so many other
Looking
things.
around,
Yeah.
taking in the world through your eyes.
You could cook dinner, do some laundry, or if you're driving.
Yep.
So you do so many.
You got to turn the steering wheel.
Yeah. When you're reading, you're focused on that one thing.
Yes, that's very true. Great point, Kade. Now I know there are pathetic, lazy audiobook listeners who are listening now who are going to say, but what about the vision impaired? Well, fucking obviously. They have no choice. What does that have to do with you? Nothing. You're just lazy and sad. I had one of these people come at me on Twitter. This started because I tweeted about it.
Right.
After I was feeling really high and mighty, after I finished my first book in several years, The Bone Season, which I bought in like 2016, I tweeted about audiobook because I was thinking about it. And Brandon, my buddy, who's also kind of our de facto lawyer, he's an audiobook guy.
Oh, no.
So he's listened to like 30 books this year already or some shit. And I was like, oh, come on though, Brandon. Like it's not the same. Anyway, I was tweeting about it and somebody replied like earnestly. First of all, I'm half trolling here, but somebody replied earnestly like, you selfish pig. What about the vision impaired? And I was like, Is that you? Like, are you? Like, I'm definitely not talking about the vision impaired. The vision impaired.
This is like people.
Well, I guess Braille.
Right.
So there's
so
like
they are.
It still applies. It still applies to the vision impaired. I'm changing my mind here. Changing my stance. The vision impaired. The tiering goes as such. You get the most credit for reading with Braille, and the second most credit for listening to an audiobook.
See, when I read my books, I also like to read it in Braille. Just add an extra layer.
You want to feel it.
Yeah, I want to feel the
through
book.
the fingers.
Yeah.
So here's the official ranking of ways to take in a book. Official, worldwide approved ranking of how to take in a book. With number 1 being the way that gets you the most nerd credit, and number 4 being the way that gets you the least amount of nerd credit, whether you like it or not. Number 1, soft cover. Soft cover is number 1. Number 2 is hard cover.
Okay, why
It's just something more real about the soft cover, you know?
No, I don't.
It's just you can crumple it, it can age and weather.
Yeah, but see, that's why I don't like the soft cover. But it is cheaper, so I do like it for that reason. But like,
it's the people's book, kid.
Yeah.
It's the cheapest version.
Right.
You know?
Well, like, when you're reading the book, you get like so many pages in, like the top, the cover of it, like it's just like it's folded up now, so like it's never really like the same with the hardcover. It's always like
it's maintained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess like if you are reading it a lot, like you can see the wear and tear on it. So I get that.
There's something hot about that,
yeah.
you know.
It's like, oh, this book has been through it.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
And you've been through it with the book, you know.
Exactly.
It's like when you take first of all, if you're reading on the beach or at the pool, the hardcover you can like damage it more. I feel like the soft cover, it's like fuck it, who cares? This thing was $8.99.
Right.
You know. And they charge out the ass for these hardcovers. Some of them.
No, like I got the 3 Dune books for like, I want to say $16 maybe.
Sick. See, because they're soft cover.
Yeah, they are soft covers.
Soft. Needs a blue chew. Number 1, soft cover. Number 2, hard cover. Number 3, tablet. You tablet people, do your thing. It's fine. I'm not going to sit here and bash you today. Today is for bashing audiobook listeners.
Yeah, you're still reading it,
You're
so
still
it
reading.
counts.
You're still reading. It still counts. It's just below hardcover and softcover.
You get like the physical book, and
It's
the tablet is just like you might as well just be like reading like a
Just more fucking screen time.
Exactly,
Which we're all trying to cut down on. You know. The number 4 is audiobook, the least worthy and impressive. And if you got a problem with that, you can meet me at Temecula. Temecula. Yeah.
It's a Monte Cristo reference.
No, it's a reference to where I'm trying to remember the dude's name in the NBA. I think it was Jason Kidd was hooking up with Matt Barnes' ex-wife.
Oh, it was Derek Fisher.
Derek Fisher, not Jason Kidd. And I think either Derek Fisher or Matt Barnes like drove to Temecula to try to fight him.
Yeah.
And it was like 8 hours in the car.
Yeah, Kanye had
He has a line about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it made a Kanye West song. Because of course it did. So that's where you can meet me if you disagree with my reading takes. Summertime is coming, and there's almost nothing I love more in the summer than spending time at the pool or at the beach if I'm lucky, basking in the glow of the smoking hot sun. But like Spider-Man's uncle once said, with great sunshine comes great responsibility. And that responsibility is to keep yourself hydrated, because when it's hot as shit outside, your body needs more liquids. That's science, friends. Fortunately, today's episode is brought to you by Liquid IV. Liquid IV hydrates you with benefits like electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients. With 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients in a single stick, it's clear why Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. Liquid IV is as easy as it gets. You simply tear open one of these convenient little packets, pour it into 16 ounces of water, shake or stir, depending on your preference, and enjoy the hydrating power of Liquid IV with a refreshing beverage that tastes fantastic. Taking care of yourself is important. Keeping yourself hydrated is a vital and crucial part of taking care of yourself, and Liquid IV is here to make sure that hydration is easier to achieve than ever. If you're like me and are sometimes too busy or too forgetful to remember to drink enough water, Liquid IV makes getting your daily hydration in simple and more delicious. Tear, pour, live more. 1 stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink. 8 vitamins and nutrients. Non-GMO, free from gluten, dairy, and soy. No artificial colors or sweeteners. 4 delicious sugar-free flavors. White peach, green grape, raspberry melon, and lemon lime. A zero-sugar hydration solution with no artificial sweeteners, clinically tested to hydrate more than water alone. As I've said time and again over the years, we have an absurd amount of Liquid IV here at Bolin Media, possibly making us the most hydrated media company in America, and we very much appreciate their support. Turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code ROSS at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code ROSS, Ross, at liquidiv.com. All right, last week on patreon.com/Ross Bolin Podcast, where every week we put out an ad-free exclusive episode for those who are supporting us by subscribing on Patreon, which I recommend you do. I was talking about the updates I'm making to my home gym, which many of you have seen if you follow me on Instagram at WRBolin. But if you're not on Patreon, you dickhead, just to catch you up quickly, my wife bought me an incredible gym upgrade for our anniversary / Father's Day / my birthday, which is in June. Because the equipment I have been using is literally 20 years old. And I'm not just saying that. Like, I got the bench and the bar and the weight set when I was 16 years old from my parents for high school baseball. Like, this is the set of weights I was working out with in high school baseball. Like, it was in a guest room in my house, and I would go in there and play Nickelback and fucking
Just
pump
throw the
iron,
weights
dude.
around, yeah.
Yeah, it was a rickety piece of shit setup, which I pawned off on some poor neighborhood kid.
So now he can go listen to Nickelback
exactly
and throw some iron around.
It was actually a weird moment for me because I've been lifting with this for 20 years, and my wife listed it on like some neighborhood thing, like, hey, we've got these weights, we're just giving them away, we're not gonna, make you pay for them if anybody's looking for a weight set. And some mom was like, oh yeah, my high school kid just asked for a workout setup, so he'll come by and pick it up later today. And this high school kid comes to my house, and I have to like help him load it into his car, and he is so very clearly the biggest stoner in the world. Like, could not have been more obvious that this dude is just like probably stoned at that moment, but like his vehicle, dude, like all the stoner signs were there.
Yeah.
Including the smell of marijuana in the car. And anyway, I'm loading this thing up into the car, and it was like a weird passing of the torch. Like, this kid now is going to go, like you said, probably jam Nickelback or some jam band.
Yeah, did you like shed a tear as you like put it in his car?
I waved as it went goodbye, and I made sure he could see me waving so that it counts.
Talking about the ways, right? They could see you waving.
Yeah.
Waving goodbye.
Yeah. So that thing's gone. And I had this new setup that came in like 40 fucking boxes. I didn't want to even attempt to assemble the new equipment myself because it was insanely complicated and heavy and difficult. And I'm not, as I've said over the years and admitted to multiple times, not the most mechanical guy. It's not my skill set. I don't love putting stuff together. I'm not great at it. I'm not adverse to a power tool here or there. And I'm not a complete pussy. I mow my own lawn, I do yard work, But something like this, like it mounts on the wall. Kade, you've seen photos of it. Like
Yeah.
it's fucking complicated, man. And it needs to be done correctly by a real professional. So I hired a handyman through the TaskRabbit website. And what I talked about last week was basically TaskRabbit is not sponsoring the show, by the way. A place you can go to find somebody to do things like mount a TV, hang a large piece of art correctly. Like they've got TaskRabbits, which are just people, like I said, handymen, who are in
Not
there.
actual rabbits, for
Right,
anyone wondering.
it's not a giant rabbit that comes to your home. It's a human being. And unfortunately, as we discussed on Patreon, they are not dressed as rabbits in any way, shape, or form. There was no acknowledgement of the rabbit, which
It's just in the name.
which is kind of a bummer. They should at least have ears on or something, right? Anyway, this dude comes. I get a TaskRabbit. He comes out to my house on Friday of last week, and he tries his best. And he fails. He's like, I'm going to have to come back, man. I didn't get it done. This bolt ripped out of the wall. When he thought he was finished, and he was like, all right, let's bring it down. And we brought it down, and this bolt ripped out of the wall. And I was like, well, that's not good.
That's not supposed to
That's
happen.
not going to cut it, dude. What the fuck? So he has to come back on Sunday. And so the TaskRabbit returns on Mother's Day morning. He tells me he's going to be there at 9 a.m. He's not. He's there at 10. I have a Mother's Day thing at 10:30. So I'm like, I gotta go, man. We're going to this flower place with my wife and my mother-in-law for Mother's Day. Like you're on your own here in my garage. Please don't die. I've got enough problems. Finish this. Get it done. Daddy wants to pump, And I leave. When we come back 2 hours later, we pull into the garage, and immediately my concern is how far along are we here? Are we almost done? Can I get this guy
when
out
did
of
you
here?
return? How many hours after?
It's probably 12:30, 1 o'clock. It's been a couple hours.
Okay.
Yeah. And I look over at the dude, and he's bleeding profusely from his hand. I get out of the car. I'm like, oh, my God. What the fuck, man? What? Are you okay, Rabbit? And he's like, oh, man, I forgot my saw. He had to cut some lumber.
Okay, yeah.
Long story. We don't have to get into it.
Yeah.
He's putting ledger boards on the wall to mount this thing too, because the studs in the garage were not good enough. There's the long story. I forgot my saw, so I used my drill bit to cut the wood, which is if you're in construction or you know anything about using a drill to saw a piece of lumber is insane behavior.
Yeah. Why did he not just
go get a saw?
Yeah.
Use the saw that was 8 feet away. That's my saw that was in the. Oh, actually, I forgot. He told me he's like, I could see your saw, but I didn't know where the battery was. And I was like, oh, you're so close. It's 3 feet more, and you got the battery right there. But anyway, I'm like, do you need a Band-Aid, bro?
He probably needs more than a Band-Aid.
He's like, it's crazy. You could see the white meat, and I'm like, yeah. What the fuck, man? He's still trying to work on the thing, bleeding. And I'm like, dude, god damn it. Now your blood's contaminating my garage. I've got kids getting out of the car. My mother-in-law is like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm like, it's the TaskRabbit. It's fine. The whole thing is a disaster. So I have to get the kids inside, get the dogs outside, let the dude inside to use my bathroom, bring him Band-Aids and paper towels and soap so he can clean this cut and get himself, at least to a place where it stops bleeding. Because I was like, do you need to go?
You're gonna pass out.
He's like, no, I've got this. It's fine. You could tell he was so frustrated with the whole situation. He did not want to be there. He didn't want to come back. He just wanted to finish.
Yeah.
He was not about to let this fucking, brutal wound stop him from finishing this job, which to his credit, he did finish. But my next concern after, avoiding loss of life, once we got him bandaged up, I'm like, are you going to do a good job now? You're bleeding profusely. You're injured. It's on your hand. You need your hands as a rabbit to do the task. So he didn't do it as well as I think he probably could have had he not almost, drilled his hand off because the bench isn't quite level. After he left, I tested everything and I was like, fucking rabbit, dude. He did okay. He did better than I would have, which is all I can really say at this point.
All right, that's all you want.
Yeah. Got it done, but did nearly saw his hand off with a drill bit for some reason. And anyway, it was a bizarre experience, man. This is the second time I've used TaskRabbit. The other time was to assemble a basketball hoop. Neither time has gone particularly well. I think the point is that I need to find a guy in Austin that I can trust.
They
to
can
put
just
shit
do it
together.
all. Yeah.
They can just,
Just a regular handyman.
Bro,
Yeah.
the first day he's out there on Friday, I worked from home that day. I'm like, I'm going to hang around the house, make sure he doesn't need some help here or there, which he did end up needing. And at one point early on, we're like taking the shit out of the boxes. I'm making small talk, seeing what type of dude I'm dealing with here. He's in my fucking garage for several hours. I want to make sure he's not a psychopath or whatever. And I want him to know that I'm not a piece of shit, so he does a good job. Because if he likes me, he'll probably do a better job, right? Than if I'm just some douchebag who's paying him to fucking put up gym equipment. Which I am, but I'm, trying to put some, sweeten the deal with my personality. And he's like, yeah, bro, I'll be honest, because I'm taking out the instruction manual and I'm showing it to him. I'm like, yeah, this is the first part we want to put up. We can worry about the other stuff, like the bench.
You sent that to him before, too.
I had sent it to him days prior, like a week. I sent a week out. I was like, you get to message with your Rabbit in their app. I'm like, here's the fucking instruction manual, just so he'll be completely prepared and realize what he's up against. And like, if it's too much trouble, he can say, oh, fuck, I can't do this. You need to get another Rabbit who knows more about this. I'm out there and I hand him the instruction manual and he's like, bro, a lot of the time when I'm putting stuff together, I don't even read these.
What?
And I was like, dude, I'm the guy paying you to do this. I mean, I get making that joke with your boys at the bar or something, but like, why the fuck are you telling me that? We're about to start. And he's like, I don't even read these. I'm like, oh yeah? You just like go on feel? And he's like, yep, that's the way I like to do it. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, fuck. This is the worst possible start. Like, he's like, yeah, especially when I'm at my own home. If I'm doing something like this, it's like, if I make some extra holes in the wall, fuck it. I know how to do drywall. But when I'm at, like, somebody else's house, I try to be more careful. And I was like...
But instructions, I don't need them. Just throw them in the trash.
Wow, the most stereotypical man move of all time. Like, I don't need these instructions. This, again, is an insanely complicated setup in terms of, like, assembling it, getting it mounted, making sure it works properly. And it's pretty important because I'm putting hundreds of pounds on this thing. If he does it wrong, I'm going to die.
Right.
So I need it to not be dangerous. The whole point of this is that we wanted something that would easily fold up against the wall and store away so that the kids aren't like running into it or playing with it or fucking with it or being endangered by it. And this guy's like, I don't even read.
I don't know how.
Like, God damn it. So anyway, like I said, it all worked out. And I've got my Ross Fit gym where I do all my FitBod workouts. And it's badass. I won't lie to you, Kade.
It's great.
It's awesome. I really love
that for you.
It's my sanctuary,
Yeah.
It's the only place I can hide from my family for an hour at a time.
It's your man cave.
It is. It really is. There's a TV. I put on the sports balls, and I fucking lift heavy objects until I feel better.
It's great. Love that. Are you going to go with TaskRabbit again?
No, that was it.
No?
That was the last rabbit.
Not going to hire one to cut that tree in a few months?
No more rabbits, Kade.
No more rabbits?
No, I'll use one of these randos that, like, sticks their card in my front door.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
I literally got one of those yesterday. I fucking hate those people. When you open your front door and the card falls out and you're like, oh, look at this. Some landscaping guy just jammed this card in there. But I actually did save the one from yesterday because I had that conversation with my neighbor about the tree or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, hey, there you go. You got someone to cut your tree.
I don't know shit about trees, man. This is a thing you don't have to care about this at all unless you're a homeowner.
Right.
And then you have to worry about, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I did landscaping, for a few summers, so I might be able to help you out there.
How often do you, that's
like
the thing,
trim?
like how often are you supposed to trim these bad boys?
I mean, I would have to see what it is.
Yeah. That's the thing. I can't tell. I don't know what they are.
You couldn't tell me
Which
what it was.
kind of
so
trees that people are like, is that an oak? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Is it like a really big, it's not like a tree like the one out here, is it?
It's pretty substantial. It's large.
I don't even think you trim trees like that.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's the problem. I'm just ignorant.
Yeah.
Not knowledgeable. And I like the trees, and I like, like my neighbor, the woman who doesn't accept my return waves, they were trimming their trees because the trees are not they're not allowing enough sunlight to come through so that the grass can grow.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
But that's not an issue I'm dealing with.
No.
So
maybe you don't even need to trim your tree.
I don't know, but isn't there like here's my impression. There's an element of tree trimming that's about maintaining them, like their health.
Yeah.
Like if there's like a dying branch, you get rid of that thing so it doesn't waste water on that branch.
Mm-hmm.
Is my general understanding of it.
Or if you want to keep like the shape of it.
The shape of a tree, perhaps, which
yeah.
I'm more all natural, you know? I'm trying to let these bad boys do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my neighborhood is like a forest. There's trees fucking everywhere, and I feel like I've got several trees I need to be looking after. And just recently, my neighbor caused me to be a little self-conscious about the tree situation because I was like, yeah, like I said, I'll trim that one. She was like, no,
you don't trim that one.
Not till autumn or something. And I was like, fuck, I don't even know when that is, you know? Anyway, a lot going on at the bowling.
I wonder if TaskRabbit wants to sponsor the pod.
Hey, if they sponsor the pod, I'll say nice things about TaskRabbit for money. If they cut the check, you know?
Right.
And frankly, that would be nice because it was ungodly expensive. Yeah, I thought it was going to be like...
Did he charge you for like all those hours
yes!
too?
Even the ones that he spent fucking bleeding. In the no time discount, bro. He's like 8 hours this man charged me for. And it was, I mean, dude, I thought, going in, ignorant as I am, I was like, surely this will be a couple $100, this TaskRabbit. It's not that, it's a complicated job, but this is what he does. It shouldn't take him that long. Surely it won't take 2 separate fucking days and I won't be dealing with this fucking bleeding rabbit on Mother's Day. But no, all of that did happen, and it was so much more money than I expected it to be, and it was devastating to my bank account. So at least it's done. We did it.
We did it.
We did it. Today's episode is all... Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We did it.
Thank you. We did it.
And now, Ross Boland's Animal of the Week.
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
Since we did an Animal of the Week. Turns out it's not a weekly thing.
But no, it's whenever you feel like.
Yeah, but this week we have one. It's the tasseled wobbegong shark, which when someone sent to me, I thought was like an internet joke. I was like, this isn't.
That's not an animal.
That's not a real animal, but it is. It's the tasseled wobbegong, which if you want to type it into Google for the sake of checking this thing out while I talk about it, it's tasseled, which I hope you can figure out how to spell, and then Wobbegong, wobbegong. And everybody's seen this thing. You've seen one of these things, right? Not in person, but like in a movie or I forgot. You don't watch like Planet Earth and shit.
No, I don't. And is this like a big thing?
I feel like it's yeah.
I'm looking at it right now, and one of the pictures, it literally looks like a pile of dirt in the ocean.
Yeah. No, it looks like somebody's grass clippings with 2 eyeballs and a mouth stuck on it. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. It's pretty tight though. The tasseled wobbegong is a species of carpet shark in the family Orectolobidae, and the only member of its genus. It inhabits shallow coral reefs off northern Australia, New Guinea, and adjacent islands. It reaches 5.9 feet in length, but can be significantly longer, like up to 12, 15 feet. The species has a broad and flattened body and head. Its most distinctive trait is a fringe of branching dermal flaps around its head, which extends onto its chin. The fringe, along with its complex color pattern of small blotches of reticulations, enable it to camouflage itself against the reef environment. So it lays on the ground and it blends in with it. That's the idea. This Muppet-ass looking shark effortlessly blends into its surroundings on coral reefs, waiting for unsuspecting prey to swim by, it says. And it really fucking does look like a Muppet. Like, that's a Muppet. That's a Muppet-ass. Look at that thing.
Yeah, that was the picture I was talking about. It just looks like a pile of dirt.
Pile of fucking dirt and grass with a couple of googly eyes stuck on it. That's a Muppet, dude. During the day, the solitary tasseled wobbegong can generally be found lying in caves or under ledges with its tail curled. Individual sharks tend to remain within a local area and have favored resting spots, so they have places that they like to chill. While resting, it opportunistically ambushes nearby fish and invertebrates and also lures in prey by waving its tail to mimic the appearance of a small fish. And at night, it emerges and actively forages for food. Wobbegongs suck in prey as it swims by, sometimes swallowing it whole.
Swallowers of that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's got that mouth on it. Tasseled wobbegongs have a unique jaw structure that allows for dislocation. All right, getting spicy here. This feature, along with rearward pointing teeth, allows them to suck in prey as it swims by before swallowing it whole. Oh, yeah.
You get turned on right now.
The tasseled wobbegong has been reported to bite and kill humans unprovoked. Oh, damn it. Okay.
Oh, so not as cute.
There goes all the sexiness.
Yeah.
It says attacks may result from people accidentally disturbing the shark or being misperceived as prey. Yeah, I figure you might accidentally step on one of these fuckers, seeing as that they, are indistinguishable from the ground. It says with several records of apparently unprovoked attacks on people, the tasseled wobbegong has a reputation beyond other wobbegongs for aggressive behavior. Holy shit, there are other wobbegongs? I didn't realize that.
I thought you said it was just one of its kind.
That's what it looks like. Wobbegong is a type of shark, though, and there are other ones who are not tasseled.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Gilbert Whitley, who the fuck is that, wrote in 1940 that, quote, it attacks and generally kills the natives of Papua New Guinea. Damn. Then it says, though Whitley's claim is questionable, this species is certainly capable of inflicting severe wounds. Conversely, the tasseled wobbegong is also an ectotourism attraction, and many divers have approached it without incident, so sometimes it's friendly. I'm betting most of the attacks have been a result of people stepping on it. You know, when it's
I have to assume.
big silly Muppet face.
Don't see it, accidentally
Put
step
your
on
foot
it.
in its mouth.
Yeah.
Does that even count as an attack? It just sucks you down.
Yeah. Just sucks your foot
Sucks
off.
your skin right off, dude. It says, given the shark's cryptic appearance and poor vision, humans should exercise caution to avoid accidentally harassing it or making it, or causing it to mistake a hand or foot for prey. Oh, so they can't see much. Problematic for a shark. This species adapts well to captivity and is occasionally found in the home aquarium trade. That doesn't sound good. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, the IUCN as we know it, listed this species as near threatened in 2003, as outside of Australia it is threatened by fisheries and habitat degradation. As of 2015, its IUCN status is least concern, which I think is good for the tasseled wobbegong shark. It means things are going
They're not worried
fairly
about
well.
them.
Not endangered.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about it anymore.
That's good.
Because
the world needs more wobbegongs.
We do.
I would say.
I agree. Tasseled ones especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really do not look like sharks though. At all.
No. That's the thing about these.
And I'm looking at
Little
the other
weirdos.
wobbegongs. They got a spotted one.
And they look more sharky, some of the other wobbegongs.
A banded one. And the tasseled. So yeah. Got a few of them, I guess.
Tasseled one is more flat than some of these other wobbegongs, based on my research, which consists of 30 seconds of Google image scrolling. Yep. Yeah. Real professional. And that's your animal of the week, folks. A tasseled wobbegong. Very quickly before we head out, Kade, did you go to a 21 Savage concert last night?
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Tuesday night.
Okay.
Yes.
What was that like?
It was really good, actually.
Where was it?
It was at Kade.
Oh.
So, yeah,
that's
like
why you were out at the racetrack.
Yeah.
The F1 track.
So they had like a little concert venue there.
Yeah, it's
just like
actually
in the
pretty
middle.
big.
Yeah, it's huge. I was in like the back lawn, so I was like really far back, so I wasn't I couldn't really see 21 all that much, but
21.
Yeah, I said that number a lot on Tuesday night. Probably the most I've ever said the number 21.
Damn.
Yeah. But it's really cool. JID performed as well.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so big fan of him. Glad to see.
Did he open?
Yeah, so there's 4 people total. It was 21, JID, Nardo Wick, if you've ever heard of him.
I think you've told us some about Nardo Wick, or
He has
maybe our shared Kade plus Ross playlist.
He has
served me
one
some.
really big song called Who Want the Smoke.
Okay.
It goes really hard. If you want to listen to that, it's a banger. And then 21 Lil Harold was like the opener, and he's like affiliated with 21 in some way. I don't know if he's like a part of like his like music label or whatever the fuck. But
What is it in their label, like Murder Gang or something? Slaughter Gang.
Yeah.
That's a good name.
But I didn't get to see him perform, but I really like his music, so I was kind of bummed about that. But JID has a song with him, so he brought him out later. I saw that song, so that was cool. But yeah, 21 was great. I've heard so many stories about like how he kind of sucks live.
I've said that.
Yeah.
But because I saw him at ACL, and I don't know how many music festivals he had done prior to that performance.
Yeah, when was that? Do you remember?
It was at least 4 or 5 years ago, maybe more.
Yeah.
And it was in the middle of the day, Kade. So like broad daylight.
Right.
Not the circumstances for a 21 Savage show. Like that's a nighttime show, bro. And it was not great. Not great, but he may have gotten significantly better since then. Who knows?
No, I think like going on tour with Drake, he like kind of saw like how to put on a good show.
Yeah.
And yeah, like he didn't have like the backtrack or anything, so like he was like rapping the entire time.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the opposite of the experience I had, which was my main complaint.
Yeah, but like JID did too. Nardo Wick, like he just like was playing the song, then like he'd be saying shit like every few lines. I'm like, this is not great. But there like when we got there's like we were in like the very back lawn, so like a lot of people like brought blankets and stuff. We just like sitting like just chilling, which is kind of weird for like a rap show. Like it's very like Nardo Wick, like he goes hard as fuck. Like I don't listen to a lot of his music, but like he's like he has a lot of energy.
Moshing, not sitting and chilling.
Yeah. And so like everyone was just like sitting back there, and then like there's just one dude just going hard as fuck to this dude's music, just like rapping along to like every single word, like dancing. Like he was going crazy.
Just losing his mind?
Yeah, just to some Nardo Wick. And then like for JID, he was like, he's pretty big, I would feel like. Like he's definitely getting more popular. And like everyone was sitting down for that too. I'm like, and like he has some chill stuff where like, it's not, he's just like rapping and stuff. But like then he has like a lot of songs that are like very upbeat bangers. People were just sitting, just like, I don't know, taking in the music. I'm like, no, you guys got to be up. You got to be like, get in it, you know? And like, that was kind of frustrating because like people were just like, oh shit. People weren't like getting into it as much. And I think like they had like
Austin's not the best hip hop city.
No, it was very white too.
Out at Kade, that's a white ass venue.
There's a lot of like teenagers too, like
the youths.
Yeah, I felt very out of place. Like when I was like, I went with one of my friends, and like we pulled up, and I was like, damn, I feel old as hell here.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't even want to know what I would have felt like.
Yeah, I mean there were like older people. Like we saw like we were walking to like our spot or whatever, and I saw like some dude that was like had to be at least 70.
Just an old man.
Just
like
an old man
at a 21 show.
Yeah, at a 21 show. Then later we saw a dad with like 3 of his kids.
Okay.
Like they're all like probably like, I don't know, like under 14 and just rolling up to a 21 Savage concert. I'm like, hell yeah, that's gonna be me. Well, dad. Gonna take the kids to see 21.
Pussy.
Yeah. But yeah, no, 21 was great. He he played all of his hits, a lot of stuff off his last album, American Dream, a lot of stuff off of Her Loss with Drake. And it was a good time. And it was like, the song Knife Talk?
Yeah.
So he has a line in there called like, it says like gang shit, that's all I'm on or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And like the whole crowd was like, kept like saying that line over and over again. And it's just like so hilarious to me because like I know like they're all just like a bunch of white teenagers. Just like y'all don't know about any of that shit. Like y'all not on gang shit at all.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of irony that unfolds at rap concerts in Austin in particular.
And don't get me wrong, I was saying it too, but I'm at least like I'm like I'm really not on gang shit, but like it's fun to rap along too.
Yeah,
I can pretend at least.
21.
And then after the show, it was really fun because like I spent 30 minutes trying to find my car.
Oh, sick.
Yeah,
that's fucking sick.
Oh my god, dude, just like fucking getting there and leaving is hell.
That's why I don't go to Kade.
Yeah. I don't know how they haven't figured it out to like...
It's like at least... I want to say it's 30 minutes outside of Austin. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
And it's probably a bit of an exaggeration, but it's not in the central city.
Mm-mm.
It is removed. And it is kind of a pain in the dick to get to and kind of a pain in the dick to get out of. The last time I went was for the X Games.
Sick. Hell
it was
yeah.
hot as shit, dude. It was so hot. It was the middle of summer. There's no shade out there at Kade. It's like
No.
concrete for miles. And because, it's a fucking racetrack with a concert venue. But I try to avoid going out there just because it's a mess.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna
It has
go
to
out
take
there.
a special thing to pull you
Yeah.
out there, which this sounds like it was.
Yeah, it was like tickets were only $30. I'm like, I'll fucking take that any day of the week.
Especially for multiple artists that you're into. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like trying to find my car, I was like hitting the lock button, like the alarm button, like constantly. Couldn't hear it. Couldn't find it. 30 minutes later, come to find out, like we walked past it, like as soon as like we were like,
oh man,
going out there. I'm like, I could have sworn we were like way further back than we were. And so we spent like 30 minutes trying to find it. It was hell. And then we spent like another 30 minutes just like at Kade, just like trying to leave.
It was. Did he start his show on time?
Yeah, like everyone was on time too. Like we were
That's a
probably waiting
miracle.
like 15 minutes between acts.
Oh my god.
And another really funny thing, like they would play music like before in between acts and stuff,
Right.
or like try to like hype up the crowd and stuff for like the next act.
Keep people engaged.
Yeah. And before 21 came on, like he was like his DJ or whatever, and he like played a couple of rap songs, and then like he started playing like "Baby" by Justin Bieber and like all these just like songs that like white people know and love. I was like, okay, yeah, they know their target audience here. And, like everyone was singing along to it and shit, and then like they play like some other rap songs and like people just like weren't as into it. I was just like,
So he's like, oh fuck it, I'll just feed them what they want.
Yeah, exactly.
Bieber hits.
Bieber. Yeah, I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Well,
it
I'm
was a
glad
good
you
time.
enjoyed it and survived.
Yeah, no, we did it.
You didn't get slaughtered by the gang.
No, we didn't get slaughtered out there. That's good.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's because gang shit. That's all I'm on. So like gang
they knew.
recognize gang.
That's right. That's exactly right. And that will do it for today's show. We'll be back on patreon.com/Ross Bolin Podcast with another ad-free premium episode, of course. Go to patreon.com/Ross Bolin Podcast now and sign up for a 7-day free trial where you can check out the hundreds of exclusive ad-free episodes we've published there over the last several years. Enjoy that 7-day free trial, then stick around to support our show and be a part of making sure the show can go on. Also, please support our sponsors by hitting the links in the description of this episode and using our dedicated codes, as that is how we pay the bills here at Bolin Media. You can find links to all of today's sponsors in the description below. Our show is available on all the audio podcast platforms, but also in full video on youtube.com/@Ross Bolin Podcast or at the Ross Bolin Podcast. I'm going to make a little check ski real quick because I can't actually remember which one it is. Yep, at the Ross Bolin Podcast, youtube.com/@the Ross Bolin Podcast. Follow us on social media. Search the social media platforms, Ross Bolin Podcast. You'll find it's a different handle on every single one, which I don't feel like listing, but we're on TikTok, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter. Check out our other shows if you're an F1 fan. Jared J-Bone Borislow has got the best F1 content in the whole of the internet on Formula Bone, youtube.com/@Formula Bone to subscribe, @Formula Bone on all the social media platforms. Check out Banging the Can if you are a demented Houston sports fan like myself. And of course, House of the Dragon Season 2 premieres June 16th. We will be covering it episode by episode
1
on
month.
Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. We're 1 month out. Last night, I started my Season 1 rewatch.
Okay,
I watched episode 1.
nice.
It's pretty gnarly, dude. Like, I feel like I was able to enjoy it more the first episode, watching it when it's not for work. When it's
Right.
like, well, it's kind of for work because I couldn't remember shit that happened except for the traumatizing birth scenes.
Which there are many.
And there was like a 20-minute one in this first episode. I skipped through a lot of that.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not doing that again.
I think I'll do my rewatch either like the week before or maybe just like the day of, just like knock it all
It's
out.
10 hours, Kade.
I could do that.
It's nothing to you?
That's nothing. Yeah. See, I don't have responsibilities. I don't have kids or anything. I can just on a Sunday just watch a whole season of TV.
That's the dream, dude. That's the
That's the
dream. I
dream.
used to do that so much. Oysters, Clams, and Cockles for all of your TV and film needs, hosted by myself and Mr. Barrett Dudley. You can follow me, Ross Bolin, on X and Instagram at WR Bolin. Kade, where can the people follow you?
You can follow me on all the social medias at Kade Orris. That's KADEORRIS.
This episode of RBP is presented by Bolin Media. Video of today's show was produced by Captain Kade Orris, and that nickname might not stick. That's okay, though. We tried it
See.
out.
We'll see. Maybe it will. We never know.
Yeah, it's true. Until next time, remember, you are not alone. Peace be with you and also with you.